today's episode of The Unwritten Rule. I have a fun show. We've got some huge, absolutely huge recruiting news to dive into. It's massive. You don't want to miss it. It's just the biggest recruiting news ever. We're going to touch on that, and then we have a great interview. We're going to kick it to ourselves. We talked with Ben Sternberg, great friend of the show, came on. If you've been a fan of this show for a while, you will probably heard him come on before. He dates back all the way to the radio station days. So great chat with him. Of course, he's a former Mizzou walk-on. If you don't know who Ben Sternberg is, come on now. But former Mizzou walk-on came on, talked with us about the new guy, Jeremy Sanchez, they got because he was friends with him at Cleveland State. Some Dennis talk. We talked about Kobe Brown. Just a great conversation with Ben as always. He gives some good stories about Chase Goldstein too, the director of player personnel who went over to Duquesne. So great conversation with him. And then we finished with quick hits, of course. We had jerseys of the week, Sean East Maine Birds. We talked Sean East with Ben as well. And then the best things we learned. So yeah, fun show. And again, we'll start with the big, absolutely huge, massive recruiting news before we kick it to our conversation with Ben. So yeah, with that, let's get into it. The Unwritten Rule starts right now.
Marcel, where are you going with that disc? You are not putting that on again. Marcel, okay, if you press that button, you are in very, very big trouble.
Attention. Everybody stop what you're doing. It's time for The Unwritten Rule, a Mizzou sports podcast brought to you by the Believe Network, alongside Peyton Haverman and Kenny Van Doren. Here is your host, Jack Knowlton.
Welcome back to The Unwritten Rule. Today is Friday, May 10th, and Peyton, we have some just massive recruiting news.
Yeah,
I mean, this is
a lot of stuff going on, Knowlton.
Yeah, a lot of stuff going on with Mizzou, and I mean, it doesn't get bigger than Donovan Olugbode, who he is a wide receiver recruit, and I mean, this is just huge news. He's got Mizzou in his top 5, Peyton. It's really kind of a slow week, but. We wanted to fill something, at least bring the news we have before we kick it to our conversation with Ben Sternberg, like I said in the intro. But yes, Donovan Olugbode is down to 5 schools. He's from Aurora, Illinois, 6'2", 195-pound wide receiver. Has Mizzou in his top 5, along with Florida, Oregon, USC, and Washington. Some heavy hitters. I will note, I'm looking at this Hayes Fawcett graphic, and Florida and Mizzou are above. He has like a row of 3, and it's Oregon, Washington, and USC, and then a row of 2, and it's Florida and Mizzou. That feels like reading the tea leaves here. The SEC schools are the favorite,
and a lot of love from Mizzou receivers. They got Daniel Blood, Marquise Speedy,
Hollywood,
and Luther commenting on this. So I mean. Definitely want to keep an eye out for. They do all the receivers like to do that just in general, but yeah, definitely want to keep an eye on. It was a pretty slow week, recruiting wise.
Yeah. You got anything, other guy?
Welcome into the Unwritten Rule. No, I got one thing though, real quick. I mean, this is kind of a slower news week. I hear my dogs in the background; they're not enjoying it either. But I found this on the college gym news accounts. I started paying a little bit more attention to it after Mizzou got a transfer from Oklahoma, and Mizzou is in the top 5 of the early power rankings for the 2025 season. That is huge, pretty huge there. Gym to school now.
I will also throw out the softball team. They wound up sweeping. They got their first sweep of the season. They beat South Carolina over the weekend. They are now they secured a top 5 seed in the SEC tournament. Very big stuff. They played their first round on Wednesday, breezed through Ole Miss. Lauren Krings was excellent. They are playing. We're recording this on Thursday, so. We won't know the results, but they are playing Arkansas with a chance to move on to the semis.
That's a good point. We'll put that in Monday's show. However they perform. If if they can go win an SEC title, that'd be fun.
Wouldn't it?
Yeah, we'll have Karen back on then if they get to the, deep into the playoffs. preview it. But
it's like they're going to host regionals, so
which that was fun. The other year, the years they do that, it's always fun. And softball's been breaking attendance records, so that's good. But yeah, Olugbode from wait, I didn't even see. Illinois. I said that. From Illinois, the receiver.
Goes to IMG now, though.
Okay, there you go. So plays for IMG from Illinois originally. Keep an eye because Mizzou is in his top 5, and he's getting some love from current Mizzou receivers. So we'll kick it to ourselves. I don't want to waste too much more time because we had a really great interview with Ben Sternberg, great friend of the program. Always love having Benny on. Talked Mizzou, talked Chase Goldstein, talked Jeremy Sanchez, talked some Kobe Brown, talked some NBA. We had a bunch of stuff. Great combo with him. We will kick it to ourselves. Okay, we now welcome on a very special guest, a good friend of the program. He's been on a couple times. It's been a minute since we last had him on, though. It's Ben Sternberg, of course, former Mizzou basketball walk-on legend, and just a great overall guy as well. Ben, we're glad first off to have you on. We're going to dive into a bunch of stuff, but I think we need to start with this. How is this team going to cope next year without Jackson Francois? I'm a little bit worried.
Good question.
Jack, whether people, want to believe it or not, Jack definitely had an impact on the team. He was definitely, obviously, the energy guy, funny kid, but, he worked super hard, and, he was a culture guy. So, it'll be different for, Mizzou, obviously, but, it'll be different for Jack, too. He's going into a completely different program as well. Arizona, that was one of my favorite schools growing up, so I'm definitely excited to see how he does there, but I'm excited for him.
Yeah, he's out in the desert. It's a little bit of a culture change. Oh, nice. Yeah, I had to ask you about Jackson. Of course, it's sort of sad. We're taking on a new era here with some of the walk-ons and some of the Mizzou, bench culture and stuff like that. But it's been a minute for you since we've checked in. How have things been with you in general and whatnot?
Good. So I know we talked about the Sternberg scoop and stuff. It turned into like a whole production thing. I've been working really hard on it. I'll send it to y'all early if y'all want to see it. But it's really cool. It's really different. I just filmed one with Kobe when I was out there in LA the other day, but. Man, it's really, really cool. I'm trying to get it out as soon as I can, but, I'm just making it as perfect as, like the way that I want it. So, that's really what I've been up to. But, just the scoop, just stay tuned for it for sure.
Heck yeah.
I think a good pivot point here, talking about walk-ons, losing Jackson, but gaining a guy that pretty well, and you posted about him, and I want to talk about Jeremy Sanchez now, who is the latest addition to the Tigers for the 2024-2025 season. First off, just can you give us kind of a feel for, the person that Jeremy is, the energy he could bring and the leadership he could bring as well?
Man, Jeremy is, one of my close friends. He's from Cleveland. He was my roommate at Cleveland State. It was me, him, and my other boy, Jason Woodrich, who just committed to Oakland. Shout out, Jason. But yeah, Jeremy is, talk about culture. He's, he does everything for a culture. He plays hard, when he gets in practice in a game, whether one of my favorite stories with Jeremy was my first year hooping at Cleveland State. It was the game to clinch our Horizon title. And coach put Jeremy in at the end of the game, the last 10 minutes, and Jeremy started hooping like he was going crazy. And that's just the type of dude he is. He's always ready, whether it's at practice or in the game, like I said. But he's one of the coolest dudes. We had a lot of good times together at Cleveland State. But yeah, Mizzou is getting a real good culture guy. He was my first year, he was a bench captain with me. He would always make sure that I was, doing my stuff, and I would always make sure, he was doing his stuff. We held each other accountable. But, Sandy is, he's a great guy, and he's going to help the guys out a lot. He's a veteran presence. This is going to be his 6th year. So, he's seen a lot through college, but, don't get it twisted. He can hoop too, for sure.
I got a follow up on him too. Is that he was at St. Leo for 2 years after Cleveland State. I mean, what does that kind of talk about his relationship and just connection with Dennis Gates and Dennis Gates just as a coach and being able to keep those connections strong?
Yeah. Coach Gates loves Sandy. He's just like I say. He's the ultimate culture guy. He would always make sure I was, going crazy on the bench, even during my bad days. But he was somebody that I could talk to as well. Not just on the court, but off the court as well for anything. And that he's going to be great for all the incoming. We got 5 incoming freshmen, all the transfers. But he knows what Gates wants in the culture, and he is full force a culture guy, and he's going to be great for this team.
So maybe an early candidate for bench guy of the year, you think? I know we taled a lot about that last year with Jackson.
Sandy definitely goes crazy on the bench, but he's definitely he leads by example as well. He'll get up if somebody's not cheering or somebody's BSing around. He's gonna make sure that he tells them and gets them on track. But I knew for a little bit that Sandy was coming to Mizzou. And I wanted to tell everybody, but he told everybody, and I was really excited when he committed. So, I'm so happy for him. I told him, that high major experience is so different than anything else, especially in the SEC, which is, arguably the best, in my opinion, the best, basketball conference. And, there's so much that went on already, in the SEC, like with Coach Cal in Arkansas. So to play against him for his first year, is going to be sick. And that's something that, nobody could take away is a SEC experience. So, I'm really excited for him, and, he's going to be unbelievable for, Mizzou.
That's awesome. And I mean, you mentioned the kind of chaos in the SEC, and you touched on what Dennis has done this offseason. I know it was certainly not the year they were looking for last year with Mizzou and without winning conference play. As someone who's been with Dennis for so long and knows his tendencies and everything he does. One, I mean, what do you make of, even from a basketball evaluation standpoint, what Mizzou's done in the offseason? But two, how does Dennis respond to, a season like that and kind of bounce back as someone who knows him?
Well, I mean, you guys seen the players he got. He was going crazy. We cleaned up in the portal, I think. But, like I think we talked about it before, man. He doesn't just get guys for talent. He gets guys that will fit into the culture. So, Mark Mitchell, for example, I heard, he's a great guy, plays hard. Tony Perkins, oh my gosh, Hooper, just all guys like that. And then the freshmen, man, I'm so excited to see, what happens next year. But, it's definitely pretty much a clean slate. There's not many left from that first year already, believe it or not. But, Coach, I always, regardless of, 0-19, 19-0, I'm always going to believe in Coach Gates. And, Mizzou should too. So, it's going to be a great season. It's going to be definitely new, a lot of new faces and stuff. But, I'm really excited to watch.
I think especially in this day and age with how much roster turnover you have, the best response to, like you said, a season like that is going out and showing that, you're doing something to retool, to refresh, to get guys. And obviously you mentioned the recruiting class as well. I feel like that's such a big, a big positive to almost put a refresher on. You say, okay, we got these guys coming in, we've learned from what happened the year before and now we crack on.
For sure.
I think another thing that's maybe a change that people didn't really notice or not know much about, but Chase Goldstein, who was on staff when you were there. I mean, from what we saw, we always saw him on TV. I didn't always know what his position was, president of basketball operations or director of basketball operations. What did he bring to this team, and what did the Tigers kind of lose?
Me and Chase have an, unbelievable relationship. When I was a manager at Cleveland State, he was the Dobo there. And, from day one, I got so much to say about Chase. I wanted to give him a shout out at the beginning of this podcast, but I could say so much about him. His family is close to my family. He really, changed my life. He was somebody I could always talk to. I talk to him every day still. And I could go on and on about Chase, but Chase was the best Dobo in the country, and I don't think there's anybody close. That's not even just being biased. The hard work that he put in and day out was, second to none. It was unbelievable. And he deserved, this was something that he wanted for a long time. And, if anybody deserves it, Chase deserves it times 100. And, I'm so excited for him. I'm so excited to, he's close to me now. He's in Pittsburgh and I'm in Cleveland. But like I say, his family's really close to my family. And, it was amazing to see, him get hired. This is like his dream job was to be an assistant coach. And we've been talking about it for 5 years. And, to see it, come to fruition is, almost made me shed a tear, to be honest, because, how close I am with him. And, that's like a big brother to me. And it's his birthday in 2 days. So shout out to Chase and happy birthday to my brother.
It's a great, that's a good present.
For those that don't know, he's an assistant coach at Duquesne now.
Yes, sir.
I mean, can you give us like your best story of him? Just to like even heighten this, like how much he meant to you guys and meant to the team.
Well, a personal story I'll give. After, I don't know if you guys know, but at Cleveland State, when we played OU, Ohio University, the 40-0 run, whatever. I wasn't really, being the best, leader. I wasn't really doing my job on the bench. And, we had the next day, he called me into his office and we talked for about 2 to 3 hours. And, it really changed my perspective on just being a teammate. And, without him in that talk, really, I don't know where I would have been. I don't think I would have been at Mizzou, I'll tell you that. But, he really was like a big, like I said, he's like a big brother to me. And, he also looks hella mad in all of his pictures, but that's not true. Like the picture that Duquesne posts, he looks mad. He's not always mad. Funny dude. But yeah, that when he had that talk with me, that changed my whole, outlook and perspective on, not only basketball, but being a teammate and being a brother. And, again, shout out to Chase, man.
I never thought he looked mad. I thought he just looked serious. I thought every time you see him on TV, he has the clipboard. He's ready to go.
Yeah, he's an intimidator. He gives me the, like, I know in football they have like the hold me back guy, the guy that holds the head coach back. He gives me that kind of vibe, just like big dude. He's got the beard.
Yeah. He we connected right away. We're both Jewish, so that was definitely something that made me feel like he would have my back even more. Especially going into Cleveland State, but. Talking about being intimidating, I remember he called me on the phone when I was right before I was my first day of being a manager, and he was like, "Be at the office at 8 a.m." And I just hung up. I'm like, "What? Like, what the hell? Like, all right, like this is not gonna go good." But I was so wrong. So he's taught me so much about life in general, not just basketball. And like I said, I could talk about Chase for days. It's my big brother, and I love him to death. So I'm so happy for him.
That's awesome. Duquesne too. I mean, that's a tournament team. Like that's
it'll
be a spotlight. Does he want to work his way up to a head coach one day too? Is that like the
I'm sure. But he's been so good at his job. It's hard. Being that good, it's hard to get out of that position. And I'm so happy for him. And shout out Coach Joyce. Coach Joyce, I'm super close with Coach Joyce too. So that was unbelievable that they're getting back together. And another coach from Cleveland State, Coach Wright, is there. So it's a lot of connections. But I'm really Cleveland State connection. But I'm so excited for Chase.
That's awesome. That's what I was going to ask you about, because Drew Joyce, I mean, he's going into his first year as a head coach at Duquesne. He was an assistant while you were at Cleveland State.
Yes, sir.
So, lots of Cleveland State connections there. I mean, is Drew Joyce? You mentioned you were close with him. I mean, do you have any good stories about you and him?
Again, I could talk. Me and Coach Joyce are also so close. But I'll give y'all a super funny story. So, on Twitter, like 3 years ago, there was a video of him in high school, and obviously his dad was a coach of the St. V team. Everybody knows that.
Mhm.
And Coach Joyce was like talking back to his dad, and then it panned over to LeBron, and LeBron was like, "Man, why you always have an attitude?" And Coach Joyce like, "I don't never had an attitude." And then LeBron was like, "You're supposed to be a point guard, leader." So ever since then, I call him leader, like a little inside joke. So when I call him, I call him leader, and he calls me point guard. So just another dude who had a huge impact in my life, and I'm so excited for him. His coaching journey is just getting started. He's only been a coach for like 4 years, so it's unbelievable to see. And Coach Summers was on that staff too, and he's at Mizzou now. So that Clee State, man, that Clee State.
It's a talent factory. It's
Come on, man.
Coaches and players.
Come on.
Yeah, that rocks, and I think that's cool. You have a good connection to him. I'm sad Mizzou's losing him now with Goldstein. I mean, it's obviously you don't want to lose any member of the staff, but
yeah,
sounds like he's making the step in the right direction where he's going for his career, and
sure, man.
I think that's great. I want to ask you this. I guess I'm sidetracking for a little bit. You mentioned you were out in LA. You teased that you're doing a Sternberg scoop with Kobe.
Yes,
you're a basketball guy. Do you think the Clippers would be in the second round right now if they played him more?
Biased, of course I would. Of course. Kobe's one of my best friends, so of course. But Kobe could play too, man. The last game of the series, he came in and got 2 rebounds right away. That's just a little glimpse of what he could do. But you got to trust the Clippers. He was torching in the G League. You guys saw that. He was putting up triple doubles, putting up numbers, and just being Kobe. And that when Kobe plays confident, it's really hard to stop. But I do know that the Clippers love Kobe. I went to a G League game, and I seen Ty Lue and Jerry West there. So they really are investing in Kobe, and I'm excited to see. He's only a rookie, so he's gonna go next year. I know. Yeah, he's got time. He's gonna put in a lot of work this summer. But yeah, I'm really excited to see his evolution. But yeah, of course, they would have won the championship if they played Kobe.
we were mad. I'm just letting our stance be known. We complained on this show. We were like, it's only 10 minutes. This is ridiculous. He needs to get more run. But I think he's in a good spot there. Did he talk to you at all about just what it was like to set foot on a court in a playoff environment?
Yeah, of course. He said Dallas was crazy. He said the fans there were crazy. But it's something none of us could comprehend. He's in an NBA playoff game. That's something we all dreamed about growing up, and for him to actually do it, again, he deserves it. One of the best dudes I ever met, one of my closest friends, and a brother to me. So I'm just really excited to see what's to come for him. He's actually at Mizzou right now too.
Oh, is he back?
Oh, Kobe is?
Yeah, he's at Mizzou right now, I think. Yeah.
PSA.
Mm-hmm.
Get out.
Another former teammate of yours, Sean East. Every week it seems like he's in some combine, some invitational.
Mm-hmm.
I want to start off with one quick question, then we'll get into what you think he could do at the next level. He was at the Portsmouth Invitational in mid-April. I don't know if you saw this, but there was a highlight reel of every high five he had. And I'll send you it on Twitter. And I want you to watch it later. But tell me what you think of just him as just a leader and just as like a point guard, a teammate in that sense.
East was one of the guys. When we all got to Mizzou the first year, he bought into the culture so quick. He was instantly the one of the dudes talking the most. Just high fiving like you said. Picking everybody up, being there for them. That doesn't surprise me, but, that makes me feel good because that's part of the culture. That's part of our culture. And, earlier this season, me and East talk a lot, but earlier this season when they were playing against A&M, I think it was, they were at A&M and they were losing. And I think Jordan Butler had his head down or something like that. And East, went up to him and tapped him on the head and was like, "It's good. We're good. We're good. Power clap." And it's just little stuff like that NBA scouts love to see. But, it makes me happy because, that was one of my main things, it was just being the culture guy. And, East could hoop and he's a culture guy. So I don't know what team wouldn't want that. He's like I think we talked about it before, early on the show that East is probably the hardest work I ever seen. Got up every morning at 5 a.m. No ifs, ands, or buts. He had a bedtime. Followed it every day. Put an insane amount of work in, and he had a great season last year. Y'all saw the numbers were insane. The field goal percentage was over 50%. It was crazy.
Yeah, the 3-point shooting jump was
crazy.
wild.
Yeah. But yeah, he put in all that work and he deserves it. So I'm really excited to see what he does.
I know another you mentioned Jordan Butler there. We talked a few times about the freshman last year. Jordan Butler, he's gone. He went close to home at South Carolina, but Trent Pierce, Ant, they're still in the fold. I know you were very high on Ant in particular.
Mm-hmm.
What are you kind of expecting from them going into their second year? And how would you assess their freshman seasons?
First of all, shout out JB. I'm really excited to see what he does at South Carolina. Great kid. He's going to be real good. He has a high upside, but I'm really excited to see what Ant and Trent do. I know they're going to put a lot of work in because I've seen it. They've been in the gym since the season's over. But yeah, I think that they got a year under their belt with experience. And they played in that arena in that environment. They played, I know they want to get some wins in conference now, but I think they're going to definitely make a jump. Practice is going to be hard. There's they got a lot of good players coming in. So, you got to be on your A game, especially at practice. And it's just going to only get them better because I know they don't duck smoke. I know they want to play the best. And, Tony Perkins against Ant's going to be, very exciting in practice. I'm really excited to hear about that. And, when I go up there, see it. And, Trent against all those guys. But I think it's just going to only make them better. But yeah, I think they're going to make a jump. They're definitely going to make an impact. And they've been in the gym. So, yeah.
Yeah. I want to go back to something you brought up earlier. And I think you said Jeremy Sanchez took this role. I wanted to ask you about the bench captain and what goes behind that. Obviously, you're someone who, at Mizzou, we all saw it. You clearly embraced that pretty wholeheartedly and did that job well. But what goes into the bench captain role? Is that something Dennis kind of created to, just help with like team chemistry and stuff? I'm just curious what that role's all about.
Yeah. So my first year, me and Sandy were both bench captains. And that role is pretty much what we were doing, going crazy, but it's not necessarily about going crazy. It's about, getting to practice early, making sure the guys are there, making sure the guys are engaged in practice. It's much more than just, being on the bench. You know what I'm saying? It's the stuff at practice. It's the stuff off the court, and just being there for them. But, I don't know if that's necessarily a role anymore. Coach, my second year, we were just captains. But
okay.
Obviously, we knew what our role was, but I'm really excited to talk to you guys about Sandy when you guys see him in action, because I swear, like, I don't really vouch for, I wouldn't lie to you guys. Like this, he's really like excited to come here and make an impact.
Yeah, no, we'll have to have you back on. Maybe we get him on somehow before he like gets, fully there. And
you tell me, man. I'll just make the call.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
For sure. He would love to get on here. Definitely.
All right. Yeah. We'll make it happen. I want to ask you about this in the NBA front too. Sorry, Kenny and Peyton, I don't want to detract too much unless you guys have any more Mizzou things or related.
I have one I can ask after. I can ask after.
Okay. I want to give you the floor for a second, Ben, because I know we've asked about Kobe, but you're a Cleveland guy, you're a Cavs guy. What are you thinking about Boston? I know they lost game one. Do they have a shot?
They didn't just lose game one. They got whooped.
It was bad. It was pretty bad.
So, obviously you guys know Phil is one of the coaches on Boston. So I texted him before the series, and I said, it's a win-win for me. If they win, then Flip moves on, and if the Cavs win, then it's my hometown. But obviously, I'm by trade, I'm a Cavs fan. And they did not look good at all. Game one. They play tonight, so we'll see. But You know, I just think we just need, Darius. I don't know what's going on with Darius, to be honest. I think that that jaw injury really messed him up, like his confidence, because I don't know what one more shot to his, chin would do or his jaw would do because, I don't know if you guys read about it, but he had to like eat through a tube because
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. So, and I don't know if he was rushed back or whatever, like he was rushed back into playing, but the old Darius was an NBA All-Star. If we get that Darius back, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think we'll have a better shot, but we definitely need Darius to play better. Spida, obviously, he's going to do what he does. He's one of the best players in the league. Strus, man, he was doing cardio out there the other day. Mobley misses too many damn layups. we need Jared Allen back. Marcus Morris. Shout out Marcus. I met him at the TBT. Real cool dude, but we need him to step up. He's a leader though. He's one of those guys that is going to play hard. But we need Jared Allen back, and we need Darius to come back too.
Yeah, I didn't realize that about Garland. I wouldn't want to do anything if I was eating out of a tube, much less come back and play playoff basketball. That sounds terrible.
Yeah, but crazy.
Yeah, Donovan Mitchell is so good though.
My gosh,
he's such a fun player to watch.
I hope we get to keep him, man. I hope we get to keep him.
Ben, it's been a year and 4 days, recording on a Thursday. It's been a year and 4 days since your first appearance on the Unwritten Rule. I wanted to know, do you remember much from that first appearance when you came in on Stop Day?
Because we do.
Because we do.
We do.
It's one of our favorite episodes.
It is.
Y'all trying to get me in trouble. That was fun. Me, Noah, and Parent was there too, right? Parent Foot was there, Coach P Foot.
Yeah.
Who's also been helping me with the Sternberg Scoop. So shout out to P. But yeah, I remember it. I remember all of it.
It's a good show. Everyone should go check it out if they still haven't. That was still when we were in the radio days. Yeah, we appreciate you coming back on.
That was fun.
We loved it. We loved it. Yeah. No, it was a lot more professional looking than what we make do now. But we make do what we do. That's why we've been saying someone just needs to bankroll us, and then we'll get another studio again.
Come on, man! If the Sternberg Scoop pops off, I got y'all.
There we go. All right, there's our investor. We got it.
Got you. When it pops off, not if. When.
Yeah. When, no doubt. Well, yeah, Ben. I mean, thank you so much. This has been awesome as usual. We'll definitely have you back on. Maybe we'll figure out this interview with Sandy. We'll get him on.
Yeah, I'll call him right after this.
All right. Yeah, we'll get that set up. That'll be a fun summer interview. You can give us an insight onto who Mizzou's getting in that. That'll be great. Sure. But yeah, best of luck to your Cavs, and hopefully.
Need it. Who y'all room for? Who y'all room for?
Well, I'm a Bulls fan, so that didn't go anywhere. I'm probably the Timberwolves at this point.
Oh my God, Ant.
Yeah,
he might be the best in the league.
Pretty
right
insane to watch.
He's very good.
Ant is diff. It's my pop.
We have a memory. This is before your time at Mizzou, but Anthony Edwards, our freshman year in 2019 was when he was at Georgia as 1 year.
Okay,
and they played Mizzou, and he went out, or he drove down the lane trying to get a game-winning layup off, and he got blocked by a guy who is now, I believe, a farmer. So we like to point that out whenever Ant does all this stuff to NBA guys. We're like, he got blocked.
That's funny.
We lost to Mizzou. Reed Nico.
I was talking to Kobe about because I didn't realize that Kobe was at Mizzou when he was here. So we talked about when he was telling me how you could just tell he was different.
Special.
And Brunson, oh my God, Brunson is different too.
He's good. He is good. Oh yeah, Kobe would have played in that Ant game. I forgot about that.
Yeah, he played a lot as a freshman.
He might have started that game.
He might have.
Possible chance.
There were some times. But yeah, Kenny is a Houston Rockets fan. And then
I'm a huge Tyrese Halliburton fan, though. And that's just because Jack is a Bucks fan. And anytime the Bucks lose, I get really excited. So go Pacers.
That was Caleb Grill's roommate when he was at Iowa State.
Oh, were they roommates?
Wow, I did not know that. Wow.
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's a great player. He was getting on my nerves because they were playing the Bucks, but it is what it is. Giannis wasn't healthy.
Y'all just got unlucky.
Series doesn't count.
Yeah.
That's how I see it.
Y'all got unlucky. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to stop Dame and Giannis, but we'll see next year. You think Dame will stay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
I don't listen to the smoke. This happens every year. Anytime
Okay.
someone comes to Milwaukee, it's always Giannis is going to go to the Knicks. Dame's going to it happens every year. It won't happen. I've been through it too many times.
Yeah.
I looked up this Georgia Mizzou game from 2020. Kobe did not start this game, but he played 10 minutes off the bench and had 3 rebounds.
There you go. Probably over Ant.
Take that, Anthony Edwards. Andy won.
Facts.
Andy won.
Facts.
Anyone? Well, yeah, Ben, we'll get this Sandy interview set up and we'll have you back on again soon. But we appreciate it, man.
Definitely. Yep. All right, y'all. I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you to Benny as always for coming on. It is quick hits time. We'll finish up the show. Kenny, we start with you. What's your jersey of the week?
Quick thing about that gymnast power 5 or just power rankings I saw for the next season. Mizzou came in at number 8. They finished 11th this past season. I feel like 8 or 9 is like a pretty good number right now for Mizzou. Will the football team finish 8th in the AP or in the college football playoff poll this last year? So the gymnastics team is on the rise as well. Looking at my jersey.
Didn't you say they were top 5?
That's
the tweet I saw was clickbaiting me into believing it was top 5.
All right. I just thought you couldn't read correctly. I was gonna roast.
I didn't read the article, but then I read the article and saw it. My jersey of the week goes to Keegan Knutson, who signed or committed to Mizzou. He's a JUCO product. The funny thing is, though, I think I know him. That's like the weird thing. So, I mean, Mizzou baseball, Carrick Jackson, lands Keegan Knutson, who's playing at Sanjak right now. He's an infielder. He's batting .360 with 2 homers, 12 stolen bases, and 29 RBIs. Some of these schools on here, if you're watching on the YouTube, I know them pretty well because they're just all in my area. And Sanjak is in the Houston area, and our good friend Peter Zimmerman played at Sanjak before he came to Mizzou. So some connections there. Of course, it's not really why Keegan's coming here because of Zimmerman, but I believe I know Keegan Knutson. I played with his brother Soren in Houston. If this is the right guy, then I think I'm looking at a person that I grew up playing Little League baseball with's brother. But yeah, good pickup for the Tigers. It looks like he's playing pretty well right now at the JUCO level. 483 slugging percentage, and yeah, I mean, just another little infield wrinkle to next season.
Yeah, and Mizzou baseball, they're fighting to try and get that last spot in the SEC tournament. I know they were 13th last week. I don't know their exact placement right now. Last couple series though. So,
Kenny, did you say his brother's name was Soren?
Yes.
That's could have been a Maine bird.
He'll be the one Soren to Mizzou next season.
Move on. Peyton, what's your jersey?
My jersey of the week, an old friend, Mario McKinney, Hoodie Rio, who was a freshman when we were freshmen in 2019. He lasted half a semester at Mizzou before he left the team, was removed from the team. I don't know exactly what happened. He's still playing, and he's going to play I have to assume his last season at Langston University in Oklahoma, an NAIA school, the Langston Lions. I believe it's his 6th season because he's gone. He went from Mizzou to John A. Logan. New Mexico State was in there, UTEP, and now to Langston. So Mario McKinney, one last dance, I would assume. I'd be crazy if he still has eligibility after that. But yeah, I only bring him up because, I don't know, he's just kind of an inside joke with all of us.
I mean, it is crazy. He's still. We have to give an epilepsy warning to this video that he played for his commitment. It's driving me crazy.
Yeah, I'm gonna pause this. I've just been staring at it.
This is ridiculous. Yeah, it's
terrible at it. I'm sorry.
Go Lions.
Yeah, it's crazy that he's still playing. This is crazy. If you remember Mario McKinney Jr., you're a real Mizzou basketball fan. That's what I'll say.
Him and Trey Jackson, the future.
Comment your favorite Mario McKinney Jr. post. My jersey of the week, and Peyton Kenny, I'm going to have to use some of your help here for this guy. I'm giving it to Monte Harrison because, so if you don't know who Monte Harrison is, if you're not watching on the YouTube and can't see on screen, Kenny's dogs know who Monte Harrison is. He was a baseball player don't know anything about him. I assume he played for the Marlins, given the photo. He committed to Arkansas to play football. He was a 4-star recruit in the class of 2014, and he is now going to play for Sam Pittman and the Razorbacks at age, I believe, 28 is how old he is. Yep. I did this mostly because I'm making fun of Arkansas because the only recruits they can get are 28-year-old baseball players. But shout out Monty Harrison for, not giving up on the dream.
Yeah, I mean, he was a part of the Christian Yelich trade, if I'm not mistaken. He was part of that deal. It was him, Jordan Yamamoto, Isan Diaz, one other player for Christian Yelich. Gabe DeArmond, Power Mizzou. I mean, he quote tweeted about how he covered his recruitment a bit back in 2014 as a football player, because Monte Harrison, I mean, he's from Lee Summit in the Kansas City area, so he was a target for Mizzou. He eventually played baseball. You can see there he played 3 seasons in the majors. Didn't really pan out there, but now he's found another calling, I guess. I mean, he's allowed to do it. So Hayden Hurst did it. I know that much. There's been others that have done something similar. So yeah, we'll see where it takes him.
Arkansas has to pick up baseball players. Kenny,
you guys, when that's happening.
All right, Kenny, your dogs got to weigh in. Now, what do you think about this? I think it's hilarious that Arkansas has to do this, or is doing this.
I'm just a little bit surprised Monty Harrison played last season. I didn't even know that he was with Nashville, the AAA affiliate of your Brewers, Jack. So that's a good connection to you there. His last run in professional baseball was under the guidance of your favorite baseball team.
What's their mascot?
Sounds.
Are they the Sounds? That's right. Okay. That's a fire name. I know there's a lot of good minor league team names, but I like the Nashville Sounds. Very fitting. All right. Well, I think it's a walk-on too. So best of luck to Monte Harrison. I just feel like this is something Arkansas fans would be clowning Mizzou for if someone did this at Mizzou.
They probably would, but Mizzou doesn't have to do it. So
yep,
they're the better.
True. Our walk-ons actually played football and then played football at Mizzou and did really good. So take that, Arkansas. Anyway, next segment.
I like no cap, and he's the main bird.
Sean East got a shout out earlier from Ben Sternberg. Main bird of the week for you, Kenneth.
My Sean East main bird of the week goes to Kyle Gibson, former Mizzou pitcher, now with the St. Louis Cardinals. There's your tie to his being the main bird. Over his last 4 starts, though, 25 innings, he has a 1.80 ERA. So maybe a nice little wrinkle to the Cardinals season. That's not really going the best right now for the team in St. Louis, but it's good to see Kyle Gibson doing well at the major league level.
Yeah, I guess I can live with this considering how the rest of their season has gone. Just a comedy of errors at this point. But yeah, good for Kyle Gibson. His team keeps losing, but it's not really his fault.
Yeah, I mean, congrats to him. It's always good to see a Mizzou guy doing well in the majors.
Tanner Houck is doing well too. MIZ.
Peyton, what's your main bird?
My main bird is going to be Kai Montgomery, the former Missouri transfer, or not former Missouri. I guess now he is because he committed. Anyways, Kai Montgomery left Mizzou after the spring portal just because kind of a numbers game at that point. Didn't really have a spot. He committed to Ball State, the Cardinals in Muncie, Indiana. So Kai Montgomery found a home quickly. Don't think Serenier has found a new home yet. Michael Cox also, I don't think, has found a new home. But Kai Montgomery found a spot for himself very fast. Good luck to him. I have no issue with Kai Montgomery looking for a spot.
It's always fun digging. I mean, you have these moments like Mario McKinney. Like maybe in 3 years we'll be like, wait, Kai Montgomery is still playing football?
Maybe. That would be insane if he was, considering he was on Mizzou for like 2-3 years as well. But
hey, there's that Miami guy, so like in 9 seasons of college football or whatever it is. So,
true.
My main bird of the week, don't have a really Mizzou connection to this, but I'm giving it to I'm going to the NBA. We've got the NBA playoffs. My main bird is Minnesota Timberwolves coach Chris Finch, Finch, Bird. Chris Finch, if you didn't see, got injured in their first round playoff series. I forget who ran into him. I think it was one of his own players. Just on like when he was, he's obviously standing up on the sidelines, tore his, I think, Achilles, I want to say. He got a pretty bad injury and is now coaching the Timberwolves from like the second row. They have a assistant who's like standing up and doing all the sideline work. And the Timberwolves are, if you haven't been watching, are now up 2-0 against the Nuggets in the second round of the playoffs. So, I respect it. Chris Finch, he's coaching injured, and Timberwolves are very good.
He had surgery on his patellar tendon, as it says there.
I didn't really read the tweet. I just looked up Chris Finch and sent something. But
I like the Bird connection.
The Timberwolves too. We talked about it with Benny. I mean, I know
That's
you guys
not a bird.
Okay.
The one thing it's funny about this video is this guy sitting next to him wearing like the Oakley glasses. I would hate to be that guy. You have Chris Finch just throwing signals right in your face.
Oh yeah, like the radio guy right here.
Yeah.
Radio, SID, whatever he is. Yeah.
Yeah. Whoever that guy is. Yeah, I don't know. I wanted him to do the that's what I wanted to say. The Ron Hunter, the guy who was at Georgia State, and he's falling off his stool.
Yeah.
I wanted Chris stool.
There hasn't been, the games haven't even been close enough for a moment like that is the thing. That's how good the Wolves have looked. So
shout out to T-Wolves. What's the best thing you learned this week, Peyton?
Best thing I learned this week, Ennis Rakestraw. Fourth grade, you see the tweet here. He wrote a very nice letter to his fourth grade teacher saying how much he appreciated him and he'd shout him out if he made the NFL one day. Well, you know what? Ennis Rakestraw made good on that commitment. You can see the note there. I don't know if you want me to read the whole thing or not on air. But it's a nice note. It's a very nice note from Ennis. His fourth grade teacher said he snuck into the classroom on the last day of school or something like that and left the note on his desk. And then, as you can see in the next photo, he took a photo with his fourth grade teacher. He got the note framed. It's very nice. It got picked up by a lot of different outlets. Between this and the Chase Your Dreams, Lil Bro, they told me I couldn't. Ennis just seems like he has a future as like a motivational speaker or something like that. Just kind of a nice, wholesome moment between Ennis and someone who helped him along the way.
Do we think Ennis has taken that Lions hat off since he's been drafted?
It wouldn't shock me if he wears it around all the time out of pride.
My money's on no.
Lion, Hofstra. Anyways.
I do think I think it's really cool. Like, I know a lot of people usually don't wear or something tied to the college they went to on draft day. Usually they have suits on or just clothes there's street clothes, normal people clothes. One of my favorite things about this photo is that Ennis does have a Mizzou lanyard with him. And I just think that's cool because to me, a lot of the times, you're just going to wear something neutral before you start your pro career. He still has that tie to Mizzou. And when you're talking about sleeping in the hat, have you seen that the meme of Homer Simpson really like snuggled up in his blanket? Someone should do that, but put the hat that Ennis is wearing on Homer Simpson, and that's Ennis every single night.
Ennis Rakestraw. Bonus jersey of the week too. Darius Robinson. He's wearing 56 with the Cardinals. He was 5 in high school and 6 at Mizzou.
Oh my gosh, Jack!
What did you make that your? Oh,
that's literally the best thing he learned.
Read the group chat. My best thing I learned this week, it's two things. Two Mizzou players in the NFL have announced what jersey numbers they will be wearing. Darius Robinson wore 5 at Canton High School, and he wore 6 at Mizzou. And so we have 56. Robinson right there. Looks pretty good. I think it's a fine uniform. I think it would have been really cool if he could have just worn 6 and keep that alive, but he'll be wearing 56 for the Cardinals.
Darius Mizzou. Good for
56,
him.
56 is a good D-end number, I feel like, too. It's not. I liked 6 at Mizzou.
It was a linebacker number to me.
Okay.
Another one, Peyton said it doesn't really look that good on him, but Tyron Hopper was getting his helmet fitted, and he was wearing the number 59, so it looks like the number he'll be wearing. Not far off from Darius Robinson's number.
I don't love 59. I just think that's kind of a tacky number. 54, that's a linebacker number, 55, 52. Those are linebacker numbers. I don't love 59.
I think Peyton is just having a hard time getting over what team's jersey it is. Is there some truth to that?
Tyron Hopper to begin with.
No, I like.
He doesn't like him extra.
59 is just a tacky number.
All right.
It looks
Kenny,
good,
I'm
though.
sorry. I'm sorry I stole your
in that helmet. Speed flex.
I'm sorry I stole your best thing you learned. It was incidental. Those are jerseys. That's why I was like, oh, no one did that. Them as the jerseys. Nobody
did them as jerseys because Kenny texted.
Yeah, I realized. I miss texts. My best thing I learned this week, going back to college, going to Brian Kelly, who said some things about recruiting that don't make him look very good or make LSU look very good. Mostly, as you can see on the screen, the quote of, he said, "We are not in the market of buying players." This was part of an answer. You can watch the whole video. It's everywhere. But it was part of an answer where he was asked about, I believe, his defensive line recruiting and how they weren't really living up to the weren't really filling the needs that they needed to fill. And he basically went on a rant about he doesn't want players who come in just to be paid. He wants guys that actually want to play for the program. All this, a very old school approach to NIL, and feels just like always a very dangerous thing to say when you are an SEC football coach.
First of all, I don't really believe this. I think every program in the country from Akron to Alabama is at least paying players in some form or fashion. And if this is true, good luck recruiting. That's just the way the game is turned at this point. NIL is such a huge factor in every recruitment. I don't really see how you're going to have much success if you don't kind of get not straight up buying players, but you're going to have to shell out some coin for guys in this day and age. That's just what it is.
It feels like we're not doing well. Well, we're not going to do what other schools do and just throw money at players. It feels like an excuse almost. You're buying players when you give them NIL deals. It happens. It's the world of college football. They want to say something to make it look like they're not doing anything, wrong, or, making it look like it's the old days of college football. It's just what it is. I don't know. Maybe there's some trouble in the defensive staff room. I don't know.
Maybe a certain someone left who shouldn't have left.
Blake Baker's swinging
maybe two
right now. Ooh,
maybe two.
What's going on down there? I don't know if they're talking about defensive tackle room or DN room.
I thought that's what the question was about, but I couldn't.
It might have been. I didn't see the full question.
Yeah. I watched the video, but as you can tell by the Kenny's jerseys, I don't remember things very long. So, anyway,
proper word.
Yeah. All right, that'll do it for the show. Peyton, anything?
What should I have?
I don't know.
Anything?
You don't want to tell Jack? No?
Was I supposed to have some? Oh, I'm just kidding. This one comes from our favorite TV series, The Today Show, guys. Guys.
LeBron James.
What do you call? Oh wait, I've said that one. Wow, we just almost got a repeat joke.
I already used them all up.
These jokes. Here's a good one. Why did the orange stop halfway across the road?
He couldn't peel over.
No. Kenny, you have a guess?
He had to peel over.
Bruh. Both peel answers, both wrong.
You said the same thing as me.
No, I said mine made more sense than yours. That's why I said it. I thought maybe you said it wrong.
No, it's because the orange ran out of juice. Couldn't get across the road because it was out of juice.
Good one.
Do you guys get it?
Yes, we get it.
Okay. Well, why don't you end the show?
Okay, I'll end the show. Thank you to Benny for coming on as usual. Everyone listened to that interview, and yeah, we're gonna try and get Jeremy Sanchez on because we've got the connections. You heard Benny; he knew he was coming to Mizzou before anybody else, and he didn't give us the scoop. Unbelievable. No, it is what it is. But we might try and get Jeremy on and have him just kind of talk. So, a new member of the Mizzou basketball team, potential future interview. Until then, and until Friday, hope everyone enjoyed the show. We will see you guys next time.